Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves. We are over halfway through Season 2. I am still your host, Ike. And before we get too far underway, I'd like to just say thanks for being here and giving this pod a listen. I appreciate it. I also appreciate that you chose to take this time and give me and my guest your ears. If you still have time after you've enjoyed this episode, please share this with someone you think would like it, or just subscribe yourself if you already haven't. That'd mean a lot. So, this is the first time you guys are hearing me after I've managed to make it through my first week of my new job. And it's pretty awesome. I'm definitely a bit out of my depth. I mean, I'm still, very much changing careers. I've only been out of a 15-year stint, effectively, of being a poker dealer since November of last year. So very much still rocky, getting used to this whole entire shift of things. I am liking this new gig a lot more. I think it's a little bit more my speed with the amount of personnel I'm dealing with and the fashion I'm dealing with them in. Still don't know a lot of things. A lot of things I'm having to Google and, check as I'm teaching things that I don't remember either learning or have forgotten that I ever learned being a high school student. So it's very weird. It's a lot of fun, though, making a lot of good connections with kids at the new school and being praised, I believe, unfairly, but praised nonetheless for doing a good job. So, feeling good moving forward. And one good thing happens, another follows, I suppose. This Monday, I found out there was an opening at a place I've been looking at that was drastically cheaper to live. So I'm moving yet again. I just moved. What was it? I moved in September or something like that, and now I'm already moving again. It's not even February. So got a chance to move in with a couple guests of the podcast in Doug and Bruce. A spot opened up in their apartment, and I'm moving in there come February 5th. So exciting, scary, and a lot of money saved. Pretty much that's it. That's it. That's a lot. But yeah. So that's what's going on in my sector of the world. What's going on in yours? Hit me up on Twitter at @likeikes or email me at passionatepeopleandpreposterouspeeves. I think it's that, right? Passion and peeves podcast at gmail.com. This week I have, I believe it's friend of Chris Klein, BRIGER Smith, on the podcast. Didn't know him at all and had a amazing time chatting with him, getting to know him, and learning what makes him tick. Also, this opened up a chance for me to go on his podcast and chat magical stuff. I don't know which one's going to get posted first, but definitely the one that gets posted first will have a link for the other. So hopefully, I don't know when his goes up. I don't think it's going to be before this, so I'll post it in some future week's comments if you guys want to hear me get magical. Anyway, buckle up and enjoy the talk I had with BRIGER. It's a good one. Hey, everybody. Today with me, I have a man of magic, a conqueror of the Buffalo Wild Wings Challenge, a builder of blades, a sporter of spoons, and the originator of the World Tree Combo Nation. Please put your hands together for BRIGER Smith!
Hi, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, man.
This is exciting. I was recently...
Packed house, yeah.
Oh, sorry, what?
Got everybody in their seats?
Yeah. This is exciting. I'm on a real show.
Real, fake, all depends how you look at it.
Exactly. Well, it's realer than any other shows I've been on.
Well, it'd be real cool to know is what your favorite movie line is that you like to just quote for no reason at all.
Okay, so this is easy. So whenever I'm quoting a random movie line, it's always going to be, I can't do the lotus with my shattered ankle. I'm just a man. It's from Blades of Glory, and it was sprouted by Will Ferrell at the very end. It's the most random thing, and I love it because it's the dumbest quote ever.
Yeah. As all good Will Ferrell lines are.
Exactly. Yeah. If I'm spouting a quote, that's going to be it.
Well, while we're on the topic of movies, do you remember your first date movie?
I actually really don't do movies for first dates, but
All right, in lieu of that, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, remember the first movie I went with my best friends to go watch at the theaters? If you want.
I'm curious to know that, but I'll reword the question. So what was the first movie you remember seeing with your friends in theaters?
The first movie I ever went and really saw with my friends in theaters was Flushed Away, starring Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And I was pretty young at the time, but I remember going with, well, it wasn't technically a date, but it was with a girl. She was my friend at the time, and we watched it, and we were both like, wow, this shit's amazing, because they're in the sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
So it was kind of date, kind of not, but we never ended up dating. So exactly.
Scoreboard. Went with somebody that of the sex that he prefers. Count it. What's your favorite non-exercise thing that you force yourself to do?
So this is gonna sound really weird, but I've been really into like calorie cutting just because I'm a little bit on the heftier side. I mean, I'm not like obese, but I don't know. There's something about like the feeling of emptiness inside of you. Like it's almost like a religious experience for me. I'm not particularly religious, but like it's weird because like you start to like feel like a need for this feeling of feeling hungry a little bit because you can feel yourself like starting to lose weight. I don't know. It's weird. It's gonna sound like I'm insane because of that, but I don't know.
It sounds like the healthiest It sounds like the healthiest form of self-harm that is possible.
Exactly. Yeah, I've just been eating a lot less lately, just because everybody says diet and exercise, and that's what I've been doing a lot lately. I've been lost like 30 pounds.
That's something that you have to force yourself to do, though.
Yeah, I get. It's not easy. Like for me personally, I love food. That's my problem. But so
damn you, delicious food.
I know cake. It's delicious, but So for me, that's what I've been doing. It's something I force myself to do, but at the same time, it brings a sort of. I don't want to say like religious experience or anything like that. I mean, kind of like how it's almost addictive.
I don't see God. I see Gandhi in his thinnest form.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of addictive because like you get used to this feeling of like you feel good because your stomach feels kind of empty because you know that's adding to your goal of losing weight and whatever. I mean, it's probably not the healthiest way to go about it. I mean, I'm losing weight, but it's not like
depending upon what lengths you're going to.
Yeah.
From the little
for sure
health info I know, I'm probably fine.
Not throwing up in all my food or whatever. I'm not bulimic or anorexic. I mean, technically.
Well, how many times are you eating a day?
About 2 times. So I'll have like a snack for breakfast, maybe if even, and just a lunch and a dinner. So yeah, it's something I force myself to do just because I want to be healthy. I want to be the best me I can, and this is my most recent attempt at it. Yeah, and
I feel that.
It's weird.
It is
it's
weird.
Hard to explain.
I know the feeling. It is very satisfying at the same as it is like as satisfying as it is painful. You're kind of like, oh, it's like
runner's high almost.
Runner's
high, like whenever you've been running for so long.
I was thinking more like somewhere between like runner's high and when you're like lifting weight that's outside your comfort zone, it really hurts, but that burn afterwards in your like biceps, you're like, oh yeah, I am so awesome. Like you get that. It's like it's the inverted like thing of like because you're getting swole when you're like doing when you're doing that much on the bench, they're like that you're feeling that burn. It's like your muscles expanding. This is like your stomach contracting. You're like, oh yeah, like thin
Just
boy
lying at
summer
night in
bitch.
bed.
Like,
Just lying in bed in the middle of the night, you're just like, oh, my stomach hurts. I feel so good.
yeah, I did it today. Whee!
Exactly.
Well, on the flip side of the coin, what's your favorite meal to make just for yourself, assuming cost and time are not relevant factors?
So I'm a person of Italian heritage, so I've been forced to eat a lot of that food. So nothing Italian. If I had to choose, I really love. So I'm of the opinion that a good burrito is one of the best things you can eat. Like I
Preach, brother.
exactly. Fresh cheese, you gotta have all the best ingredients, but just a classic pulled pork burrito is what I'll eat every day. Like, if given the option.
Well, all right. So, break it down. What are we putting in this here pulled pork burrito?
Sweet pulled pork, and then we're gonna put some like 5 different cheeses.
Oh,
I know,
love it.
but just small amounts though, just because you don't want to. Too much cheese is just like kind of just blech. But if you have just the right amount, but with different flavors spread out, is where it's perfect for me. And
do you have any number one picks for what cheeses you want to be in there?
I gotta say, cheddar, mozzarella, Gouda, Parmesan, and I know all these don't go together, but
I was gonna say the one of these don't sound like things I put together. They don't sound bad, but
Yeah.
also this is so Americanized burrito that I am
Exactly.
I can't wait to hear the rest of the ingredients. Please continue.
beans, rice, and then I have this hot sauce that's like 1,000,000 Scovilles. I'll put that in it. It's really good. It's
what
really
hot
hot.
sauce is it?
I can't remember the exact name. It's like Elijah's
Oh, okay.
hot sauce or something. It's
Yeah.
very spicy, but it tastes really good. It's like ghost peppers mixed with Carolina Reapers and stuff. Delicious. I love it. It's delicious. And then
Why taste your food when it could be on fire? Elijah's hot sauce.
honestly, up to the it's gonna sound like I'm insane and extreme, but at a certain point, you get used to the spiciness, so the flavor starts to come through, and they have an extremely like robust flavor. Is my like some hot sauce is just for like spicy for spicy's sake. Like there's this stuff called Da Bomb, which
Oh yeah, that stuff is cancer.
yeah, it doesn't have any flavor to it. Is the problem with it? Like it's spicy, but there's no flavor. Like it's just spice. Like there's no flavor. I really love flavorful hot sauce.
So this is the Elijah's Extreme.
Yeah, something like that.
There's like an X, there's like a big X on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll eat that stuff. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. I think I'm gonna have to go for the lower edition of this. They have a pineapple mango hot sauce that like has an eyebrow raise. That's my jam.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. I'll have to try it. Yeah, and then other ingredients. I just like to keep it simple with my burritos, so probably guacamole, and that's about it.
Are you a maker of your own guac, or do you prefer just like saving a lot of time and suffering and just buying it from the store?
I mean, if I make my own guac, it's pretty good. I just get avocados, mash it up, and then I get some what are those onions called that are just the thin ones? Just
Scallions?
green onions. Yes, scallions, green onions.
Oh.
Mash those up with a little bit of like salt and not pepper, just a little bit of salt, and then some tahini is the stuff I use. It's a spice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then that's how I make my own guacamole, and it's pretty good.
That sounds pretty fire.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Well, since we're talking about so much food accoutrement, I think I gotta ask: if you were a condiment, which do you think you'd be?
Honey mustard. Because sometimes I'm sweet, but I got a little bit of spice to me. I don't know.
Oh, that's great. That's a great reason too. That's very well thought out, sir. Much appreciated.
No worries. It's just my favorite
if you were going
sauce.
to, sorry, say that again.
Oh, just that it's just my favorite sauce, so I'm just trying to come up with reasons around it.
How can I be what I love? While we're on the subject of food, who's someone you've never met, alive or dead, that you'd like to have lunch with?
That's a good question. So, My thing is I believe that you shouldn't meet your heroes because, like, everybody's a disappointment whenever you meet them finally.
Nobody can meet up to the expectations you have in your head.
Exactly. But I think if I had to choose, I would probably meet someone like... probably somebody who did a lot of good in the world, regardless of... Like just somebody who... Well, so if they're dead, that implies that this logic set can determine things that aren't realistic, because we're bringing back dead people. So somebody who is a good person through and through, determined by the people that bring him back, is who I'd choose. I'm just extrapolating off the question. That's what I like to do.
I'm noticing that.
Okay, but yeah, so I don't know, because, like, I've been asked this question before, and I don't know, because, like, if you say a celebrity, then, like, 10 weeks later, it's like, wow, I can't believe you ever wanted to meet that person. And it's like, yeah. Like, the whole Justin Roiland thing that came out, it's like, no, you don't want to meet that guy, even though, like, 5 months ago, everyone was like, man, I would love to meet the creator of Rick and Morty,
Yeah.
But it just seems like everybody's a disappointment, so if there's some way to pick out who is a good person, I'd like to learn from them how to be, a good person.
So you're abdicating to, like, whoever has the time machine thing. You're like, like the bring them back machine. You're like, all right, who would you recommend?
Exactly.
This is the equivalent of going to the restaurant that you just don't know what to get.
Exactly.
I don't want to be disappointed. Who's the crowd favorite? All right. Well, second follow up to that, where would you take them for lunch? Where would you take this nebulous figure? Like, what's a place that you'd like to take either a dead or somebody hasn't experienced it to go out to eat for lunch?
This is gonna sound awful. Popeyes. I really like that restaurant.
It's dope.
I just want to
go. Are you
go.
a lover before, or is it just the chicken? Are you one of the chicken sandwich crazes?
I've never had the chicken sandwich. I've literally been there like 3 times in my life, and they were in the past like month, just because I was like, I really feel like chicken fingers. So I went there, got their chicken fingers, and like, they've perfected chicken fingers. I want these chicken fingers every time I go.
Not discounting that. Wise choice. I think try this chicken sandwich next time you go. But also, if you're looking for unbeatable chicken fingies, if you can get yourself to a Raisin Cane's, boy howdy.
Raisin Cane's.
Highly recommend to you and all the listeners out there. Give it a try at least once. It is the in and out of chicken fingers.
Nice. Yeah, I think there's one like 40 miles from me, so I'll have to check that out next time I'm up there.
Next time you're feeling like driving for no reason.
I mean, I drive a lot for work, so I'll probably be around there sometime.
Well, as one who has to drive so constantly for work, I'm sure you have a favorite non-traditional curse word you like to utter in times of such traffic and trivial tribulations.
That's a good question. I'll probably just say fudge. Or, I don't know. I live in Utah, so like that's just what we're taught to do from a young age. Even though I'm not Mormon.
This is you're born and raised there.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
So I wasn't raised here for a long time. I mean, so I was born in Utah, but then I moved out of state for a while to Arizona. So I mean, I know what a fuck sounds like, but the word.
I know what a fuck sounds like. Thank you for that. That was tremendous.
But yeah, around here it's just every time somebody curses, it's a non-traditional curse word, so it's kind of hard to be like, like I'll say a big shoot, gosh darn it, golly gee, and goddamn, but it's not traditional curse words. Although the last one was, but I was just trying to be funny. So yeah.
You're a preferrer of the fudge, though.
Yeah, I'll go. Or
what's your favorite one that you've heard from another Utah resident?
So a lot of people will replace stuff with swear words, but there was one kid in grade school who, whenever I was really little, so he thought he was avoiding saying swear words because his older brother told him that the word, I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, but he said the word cunt was an alternative to a swear word. So he said that all the time. at the time, I don't know, I was like 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that, around those ages. I knew what the word meant because my parents, they told me not to say that. So whenever I heard him say it, it was the funniest shit I'd ever heard. I couldn't stop laughing. Like
this little tyke walking around thinking he's getting away with murder, just saying one of the worst words.
Exactly. It was so funny. Like it wasn't as funny at the time. I was just like, oh man, what an idiot. He's saying a swear word. But looking back, I die every time just thinking about it, because this kid was like, he was being like the biggest asshole I've ever met, but he didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So he sounded like a British guy drunk in a pub, just calling everybody a cunt. It was hilarious.
Just imagining this little kid in suspenders being like, "You're a cunt, and you're a cunt," and the teacher's like, "Ah!"
It was like that. But so he said it mostly on the playground, so all the other kids, I remember.
Oh no! It just like proliferated without supervision.
It didn't get as bad as you'd think. Like, I mean, the teacher kind of nipped it in the bud, but I really wish she wouldn't have, and all the kids just started saying it like insane. Like, we might have started a revolution. We're taking the word back.
Out of Utah,
back to
no
preschool.
less. Love it. Oh, God.
Yeah.
What inanimate object would you be best friends with were it sentient?
That is...
I'd
have
is
to
a
say,
question.
Yeah, what inanimate object? Probably my toothbrush. It's gonna sound weird, but I don't use it enough, so it'd probably be like, thanks for not sticking me in your smelly mouth.
The toothbrush actually wants you to not have good dental hygiene. It's like, man, I've had a rough day. Please, just get a couple more fillings done. Don't use me.
I know. No, I used to use my toothbrush, but no, it's I had it right next to me because I couldn't think. Yeah, that'll be my answer though, because it's better for comedy. Sorry, I'm turning this into a just telling jokes the whole time. That's what I do.
Oh gosh, so repulsive. I can't. This show won't air. Oh no, jokes. No. My God, what have you done? All right, man. I'm gonna give you a hypothetical.
Okay.
You're going out to a party and you want to look extra. Mm-hmm. Other than the normal garb, what accessory would you add to your ensemble to really stand out?
That's a good question. So whenever I do that, sometimes this is cheating, but I don't need glasses, but I'll have these blue light glasses I'll wear that they kind of make my face look better. So I'll wear those, and it does make me look better. So
there you go. What are blue light glasses?
So they're a pseudoscience that doesn't actually work, but they're meant to make it so that whenever you stare at screens all day, your eyes don't get damaged from it because it filters out the blue light. They don't actually work. I just wear them because my brother told me you should get them, and I looked into it. I'm like, but these don't work. And he's like, you should get them still. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, wow, I look so much better with these on. Okay, got it. I'll use these.
It's up there with it's up there with like getting glasses that don't have lenses.
Mm-hmm,
it's like
basically.
Clark Kenting it up, yeah.
Exactly. I'm trying to pull off the undercover superhero vibe, but also the I'm not Mr. Beast whenever I wear these glasses. So
for those of you that don't know, after this episode, go find this gentleman's Twitter, which will be posted, and you'll see what he means and what I think that he looks like Mr. Beast.
It's not just you. One time I was at work, and then the owner of the house opens up the door. They're like, Mr. Beast? And I'm like, no. So I work in construction sometimes.
Okay.
Because my dad sometimes is just like, hey, can you do this job? And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll do that. But it happened more than once. And dear God.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What's a job at some point in your life, as we are talking about occupations, that you wanted to pursue but are very glad you didn't get?
That's a good question, and I will. It'll take a little bit of a story. So whenever so whenever I was in high school, I was. In my area, we had the option to take a class. I mean, this was nobody did it, but you had the option to take a medical assisting program class after school, which on your own time, and I did it. I finished the class, but I did all the in-class work. I was basically a medical assistant. I just never did the externship because, one reason was because COVID was just started.
Damn you, COVID.
Yeah. So COVID had just started, and I decided, you know what? I'm not going to go do medical stuff when this is happening. It's selfish, I know, but...
Hey, man. Self-care is best care.
Yeah, and then I also decided that, I don't know, the field just isn't for me. You can work in jobs that aren't very hour-intensive, but a lot of the stuff, like, if you want to work in, like, a hospital or anything, you have to stay up for hours upon hours on end, and there's always short-staffed, and I can deal with pressure, but I just don't know if that would be healthy for me to do that, like, constantly, because, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like an environment where I would thrive.
My brother did the exact same thing. He he started looking into the medical field in college, took some classes to head in that direction. Think he went and for the equivalent of like a ride along and went and like hung out with some medical professionals at a hospital for a day for their work day and was like, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah, this is like, 5-6 days a week. And he's like, bye. And just like immediately transferred programs. He was like, no. He's like, I love the field. It's cool. But also no. Like, the amount of extra school, all the stuff you have to do. And then like the money you owe and the work you have to endure and the liability and blah, 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 blah. He's like, not a chance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So 100% know where you're coming from after talking to him about that, because I was like, he bounced on it. I was like, wait, you're not going to do medicine? He's like, fuck no. So,
nope. I think it was probably a lot easier for older generations because they didn't have all of the... Like, my grandpa, he got into medical school and did it whenever he was a kid. Or, like, he was like, I don't know, like, 20s, and he was out of medical school. I'm like, you physically can't do that anymore. Like...
Yeah.
You have to do so much more schooling and it's so much more expensive, and I'm just like, they really need to do something to make it easier.
Yeah, and also
like,
then after you've accomplished your dream, after doing a zillion years in school, you have to go through, it's not quite internship, but like a fellowship, right?
I think it's an externship.
Externship? Okay, so you have to go and you're like, you start bottom of the rung, you're like working under people doing like the shit, like the kind of shit things that nobody else wants to do. You do that for like a while, then you finally get into working, and then the hours you're working are like detrimental to your mental health, all while you are providing health. Like, it's such a weird catch-22 that like some of the people with like the worst like job mental health experiences are the ones that are doling out health for other people. It's like EMTs, like their jobs are 12 on 12 off, or like or, sorry, no, it's more than that. That's not right. I think it's like, I want to say it's like 48 on 24 off or something like that.
Yeah, they have
where you just
EMTs.
It burns you to the ground. You're like on call sitting passed out, and then it's like, okay, go wake up, go save a life. Like, are you fucking kidding me? The amount of like wear and tear we put on our health personnel is just insane. Yeah,
and I think also I this is gonna be a little bit of a downer, but I know that the field that has the most suicides, you might want to censor that. I don't know. Trigger warning. Is by profession is dentists, which is weird.
I think that one has less to do with like the wear and tear, because of all doctoral things, my understanding is that dentists are like pretty chill. Like, they work the more like 9 to 5 of any person with any kind of like doctor training. However, I think the reason I've heard postulated is that they feel like their job that they're making no difference. Like, they're getting paid a lot and also doing not superficial stuff, but definitely, I don't know. They went to a lot of schooling. They're getting paid a lot. They're not working that much. They get like not vilified, but definitely made fun of by the other medical careers. Like, all their stuff they're doing for the most part it's not irrelevant, but it definitely isn't as affirming or life-saving as a lot of the other medical things that are happening. And so it leaves you with this weird kind of like mental space, is my understanding. Yeah.
And you have all the debt of like a normal doctor.
Yeah. To be fair, you get it paid off real quick being a dentist. Those guys earn bank.
Yes.
But I mean, like, you hear a lot of the people that go on safaris and stuff like that you hear about, they're dentists because they have stupid money, and like it's just like their job isn't, from what I'm gleaning from this, their job isn't that like satisfying or life affirming, and so they have this like kind of like pit that they're like trying to like fill.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
And it turns out you can't do that with money, or not as easily.
Yeah.
Turning it back to the more useful information. Do you have a
might as well just cut that out? That was down.
No, that was great. Introspection is the best spection. It's also one of the only spections I know. Do you have a life hack you'd like to share with the class to improve their daily living?
A life hack? That is a good question. The one life hack I use is a potato peeler on onions. If you use that, it slices them really thin. It's kind of nice.
Oh, shit. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you do that, I'm assuming you do that top down, right? You like cut off the top and then just work your way down? Or can you do it sideways?
I peel the skin off the onion, so I just have like the part you eat, and you just use the potato peeler just to slice it down.
But you're doing top down, or can you do it sideways?
It doesn't matter. You just slice it from whatever angle you can get it to, and I mean, you just get like a fork or something and stick it in the side. And you just peel it with the potato peeler, and it cuts it really thin and nicely, so it lets you be able to. I personally like it better for frying stuff up because chopping it up gives you like little squares of onions. But if you're caramelizing the onions, I really like having the little thin shreds. I don't know. It has a better mouthfeel to me.
That is so cool.
Specific.
That's rad. Well, I eat a lot of onions. I have like I have a breakfast dish that, with my recent schedule, has turned into more of a dinner dish where I make myself toast with put cream cheese hot sauce, and then put a compote of caramelized onions and sausages with fried egg on top.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's my jam. What I'd recommend to everybody, forever and always. But I currently have like a dicer for my onions, which is useful but a little bit of a pain to clean. But that sounds really cool and a lot of fun. I think I've got a potato peeler too, so
it's it's like the specific one that has like two blades on the one side is the one that I've noticed works best. I don't even know how to describe it.
You're talking about the one like generally with it almost looks like a razor. It's like got a handle, and then
if you look up potato peeler, it's the first thing. If you look up, that's it. That's literally it. Just that one works the best. I mean, the ones that kind of look like knives kind of work, but I don't know. That's what I've noticed. So it's just you just slice the potatoes. You get all these little thin strips of onion, which it also seems to fry faster than the squares because the squares are just a little bit too thick.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
That's awesome.
My favorite life hack.
Yeah, that's really cool, dude. I at least will be putting it to use. So you have impacted the world in a positive fashion.
Nice.
Do you have some media sitting on your shelf, whether it be book, graphic novel, TV show, that you've been putting off that you can't just wait to break open, given the earliest opportunity?
Yes. So, I've been watching the show. It's an animated anthology. It's called Love, Death, and Robots. It's on Netflix.
Yes.
I've been watching that. And so recently, there's a novelization of them, which has all the original stories of it from them. And
cool.
Yeah, I didn't know this for the longest time. I was watching a YouTube video with Tim Miller's, I think, the creator. Or I forget his name. Anyway, he was talking about how they had a novelization of it, and I was really interested, so I looked into it. They're like $20 there's 2 books. One has 2 seasons in it, and the first one has the first season in it. Mm-hmm. And it has all the book versions. Some of them are a little bit different because they're adaptations from these books, but they're just short stories, and I really have been wanting to read them. I just haven't had time because I work a lot and I do school, so yeah. So I haven't had the chance to read them, but I'm really excited to read my favorite one, which is, I forget the name of it. I have it bookmarked. I can just grab it real fast. It is called Bad Traveling. It's about a giant crab monster that gets in the hull of these sailor ship. I
It's in
absolutely
the
love
most recent
that.
season.
Yeah, I absolutely love the setting of it because I'm a huge not a fan of H.P. Lovecraft in particular as a person, but I love the genre he kind of created.
Yeah.
The style of it, just the aesthetic, kind of Bloodborne, the video game,
Yeah.
kind of vibe. It's my absolute favorite kind of subgenre of fantasy. So that series really was like showed me like how well you could do animation of it, which really I don't know it was really awesome. And so I got the book and I really want to read it. Just haven't had time.
That's awesome. I did not know they did that. Yeah. Hi, for those of you that love the kind of it's not noir, but just like off the beaten path kind of icky fun, think like Sin City, or like something almost like not quite post-apocalyptic, but yeah, HP Lovecraftian, neo-noir, post-apocalyptic, that kind of oeuvre. I would highly recommend checking out Love, Death, and Robots. It's a blast.
Yeah, because it's not just about one kind of thing. It's a lot of awesome like animations about all kinds of sci-fi fantasy. There's not really fantasy. It's more sci-fi to like. Yeah, it's hard to describe what it is.
Yeah.
It's an animated anthology of really fun stuff.
Yeah.
Mature, so don't watch it if you're
don't watch
under.
it with kids. Don't watch it if you prefer the like GPG kind of feel goods. There's not a lot of feel goods coming out of it. It's fun, but not in the traditional sense.
There's that one about the yogurt. I would watch that one with actually there's nudity
the one about
but...
the yogurt and the first three robots, I think, is like as like kind of like lighthearted fun as they get.
Yeah, or the Hitler time machine one where they kill Hitler. I forgot that one. That one is definitely not for kids, but
yeah.
Just watch the show if you have a chance.
Yeah, highly recommend. Well, speaking of the cinematic presentations, who would you want to play you in a movie of your life? You can choose the time period of yourself that is being portrayed, as well as the actor who is playing you. So if there's an actor you think would be perfect for you, but they've now grown out of it, you can reverse time so that they can do this one perfect role of your life.
You know, this is a hard question. I was really, whenever you gave us the questions beforehand, well, some of them, I was thinking, doing some deep soul searching. I'm just going to have to say Mr. Beast.
What period of your life would he play?
Right now. He's going to be sitting in, he's going to be at work doing what I do for my job, and then he's going to go and do what I do, which is mostly play video games after work because I'm tired.
What do you do for work? You said you do construction sort of?
Yeah, so my dad, he owns a small flooring company, which he installs hardwood floor, LVP, stuff like that.
He installs small floors?
The company's small, he installs big... Okay. I was really unsure if you were... We do micro floors. Have you ever seen a dollhouse, okay? Think that. Yeah, so we do floors for him. I do that for him, but I'm trying to get out of the business because it's not good for your body in the long term. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing school right now and stuff. So yeah, it's fun.
What are you looking at kind of heading towards?
I'm going to start law school pretty soon.
Nice!
Yeah.
Good guy on the world.
Exactly. Yeah, going to try to do some fun stuff with... I haven't decided which branch of law. I just really enjoy laws and rules. I mean, not like, oh, you're doing this wrong. Like, I get it. You do fun stuff if you need, like, hop over a fence if you need, you know? But I enjoy learning the legal system, and I really want to make a big difference by bringing some good out in the world.
Nice. Hop over a fence, or as you would legally say, an easement.
Exactly.
It's like it's the one thing I remember from like tort law or the business law class I took was like easements, like the way like my two takeaways were easements and that if you stay on a property long enough in like without trying to hide your presence, you can like somewhere between own it and or rent it. It's a weird California thing, but
Oh,
That's what I love.
I know what you're talking about. Squatters' rights, I think, is...
Yeah,
Yeah.
squatters' rights, where if you are, I don't quite remember the time period. I want to say it's like 30 days, but it might be longer than that. But if you are on a property living in a non, like you're not trying to occlude your existence on that property, it in some way or form becomes yours, or you begin to have claim towards it because of, and this was a law that was put into place because of like settling out west, and just hasn't been changed since, that they wanted to prohibit people from buying land and just sitting on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted people to be able to come out here and like live. And so oddly enough, that rule is still in place. And so it makes getting rid of a bad tenant hard, but also sticks it to the big man. So a little bit of column good A, a little bottom column bad B. I don't know.
Yeah. So what you're saying is I should just go up to a random like big mansion that nobody lives in for like they go there for their summer home, just live there, and then eventually it'll become mine.
Yeah, that's how I think that's how people obtain wealth in this country.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Well, other than that sweet juicy nugget, what life lesson do you wish you learned sooner?
Be yourself. So whenever I was in high school, I was really scared of just doing, like, I was very shy. I would be very introspective. I wouldn't really go out of my way to do much. But since then, I've discovered that nobody cares about anything. So, like, if as long as you're not, like, breaking the law, do whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. Like the other day, somebody was doing bets. They're like, hey, nobody will eat this pistachio shell, and nobody else did it because they were like, oh, that's dumb. And I did it, and I'm like, it doesn't break your teeth or anything, but it's dumb because nobody cares. And it's, if you're the one who can do that stupid shit, like, you know that kid in high school who does the stupid stuff, and everybody's like, wow, he's crazy. But it just doesn't matter. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah. There's this great life lesson that it sounds really sad, or at least it did to me upon first hearing it, but then it brought me a lot of freedom, which was the moment you leave the room, nobody's talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, by and large, like, nothing has to do with you. This isn't, what people say about you isn't necessarily an indictment of you, more as, like, the way they are feeling. And that, like, the second you leave the room, like, nobody, like, everybody likes to think, and it's just the inherent human kind of notion, at least in the United States, I'm of the opinion that, like, we worry what people are saying about us behind our back when we leave the room. The reality is most people there's so much going on that the moment you leave the room, they're kind of like, and they just move on to other things. Nobody's like talking about that time you ate a pistachio shell, or like when you tripped or said a dumb joke. Like, that thing doesn't, continue through life as much as we like to think it does. It's just like, people got other shit going on, so don't worry about, like, don't let your expectation of other people hold you back, because in the reality, that's not going to be a thing. When you tried to say that joke and it fell flat, when you tried to do that jump shot and, like, your shoelaces were tied together, whatever it is, that moment is probably not going to live longer than the next, like, half hour tops. It's going to go away.
That's why I'm trying to change the world. I'm actively going out and just saying bad stuff about people behind their back, Make sure that it happens, because that's what everybody's worried about. So I want to be the change.
I want the world that people expect.
Exactly. I'm making things better. See? It works. I'm just going to start bad-mouthing other people all the time.
What poor man luxury do you still enjoy to this day?
My life? You said poor man, right?
What? Nice. No, like, poor man luxury, like, Kraft macaroni and cheese, or there's the, what is it, the tuna kit, or, like, there's those packets you can buy from the store that's like it's like the pre-made tuna salad that you can just, like, spread on crackers, or if you're smart enough, bring, like, 2 pieces of bread, make basically a tuna fish sandwich on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those, what are those guys? It's Starkist?
I don't know. Some brand of tuna.
Yeah, Starkist. Oh, nailed it. Yeah.
Nice.
So they have these things called, like, blank creations or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And you can buy them in, like, these little, like, couple dollar packets or whatever like that, and just, like, open it up and spread it on a sandwich or spread it on some crackers.
Yeah, I have some upstairs in my cupboard right now.
Nice.
Yeah, no, but if I had to choose, probably the one I enjoy most is ramen. Like, I'll eat that. Like,
Top ramen?
Yeah.
Are we doing it out of the? Are we doing it out of the cups? Are we doing it out of like
cup
the
of
bags?
noodle. Cup of
Cup
noodle.
of noodles. This guy's got class, folks.
I know. I've been really enjoying. So this is gonna sound awful, but they have this like yellow curry ramen rice stuff at the store. It's sold at your local Walmart. Yeah, I go there and I have money. I can buy like food that's not that, but you know, I see.
I just want to let you folks know I'm doing well.
I'm there. It's there. You know, something happens. There's a connection. You know, I'm looking at it. It's looking at me. I'm hungry. It's looking like a snack. If you know what I'm saying.
Have you tried the? They have this new thing. The same. I don't remember the name of the company that does Top Ramen, but they have this new thing that is like. It's a thicker noodle. It's more like a. It's less of a ramen and more just like a noodle dish. You put like less water in it, and it's just like more just. I don't remember the.
There were stir fries, I think.
Yeah, like I think.
Yep, that's one of them. It's the yellow curry stir fry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are. Oh my gosh. Like, where have they been all my life? I really wish that those were around when I was more broke. Like, I still mess with them now, but I really wish I didn't need the excuse to be like go out of my way to have like a $1.50 like cup of things. Although maybe that time's coming back for me. Who knows?
Who knows? With the way the economy's going, joke.
All right. Well, lastly, before we throw it to our first commercial break, if you could have listened to this podcast or one song of your choosing, which would it be?
So I have ADHD, so I listen to a lot of music, and I have been known to listen to two songs at the same time, but if I had to narrow it down to one song, it would have to be the one I've been listening to a lot more than usual lately, on the Outside by 21 Pilots. I don't know, it's just, I like catchy beats. I don't really care for I specifically go out of my way to find music that has catchy songs. I don't like specific artists. I just like specific songs that, I don't know, they are different and unique. And that one's just one I've been enjoying a lot.
Oh, same Z's. Highly recommend. That whole entire album is light, poppy fun for the most part. And that song really typifies that album. It's so perfect. Highly recommend. And with that, we're going to throw it to our first break. Feel free to stick around and enjoy the Totally Real commercial, or take a minute to enjoy The Outside by 21 Pilots. Or if you really wanted to hear a song from a previous episode, check out the playlist on Spotify, Passionate People and Preposterous Podcasts, Song Rex. It's a long title, I know.
Don't worry, there's a link in the description.
Nice. Either way, see you in a jiffy.
So where's the commercial?
Have you ever just looked at fried carbs on a plate and thought, I need to eat those, but it doesn't taste all that appetizing? Introducing catsup. Catsup is a sugary and red syrupy paste that'll overshadow any unappreciated taste. Simply douse the unpreferred tasting object and ingest. Thanks, catsup. Welcome back, everybody. So I'm here with Bridger, and Bridger, what's the passion that you've brought with you today?
So I have a DVD copy of The Passion of the Christ. Is that?
Oh, nice. We're gonna watch it later.
Okay, yeah. No. So you want me to? So to clarify the question, you want me to talk about why I am a passionate person on your podcast?
No. What's the passion that you kind of brought with you that you wanted to talk about today?
So I'm passionate about bettering myself. Is the thing that if I was asked what I'm passionate about, it's that. And that was a real English sentence, and I am not apologizing for it. So, yeah, I'm passionate about being the best me I can, because I think that since there's only one life you can live, if you don't believe in reincarnation and similar things like that, which I personally don't, but good for you if you do, I think that, honestly, I want to be the best person I can, because if I look into the mirror and I see somebody who's constantly failed in life, constant failure is a good thing because it helps you learn, but if I let that failure define me and I let that failure become like part of me, like I don't want to just be an old man who has only regrets in life. I want to, within reason, do things that are fun. So that's why I have a million hobbies. I'm not the best at any of them, but they're just stuff I want to do and I've always wanted to do. So I just take the opportunity, learn how to do it to an extent which I'm proud of myself for doing it or happy with it. And if I enjoy it, I keep doing it and I keep doing it and I keep doing it. And if I don't enjoy it, that's good because I know now that that's not something that I'm going to regret not trying,
For sure.
Like blacksmithing, for example. I do it, but not as much. I'm not a fanatic at it, but I enjoy doing it. But whenever I'm old, I'm not going to think, oh man, I never did blacksmithing, That's not going to be a regret for me, even though I've wanted to do it. And it's just, I don't want to live a life of regret because so many of my family have that life. Like my grandma, she complains about everything because she never did this whenever she was young because she was too busy with her kids. Or my grandpa, he was too busy with work whenever he was young. I mean, to an extent, yeah, work isn't fun and having kids is hard. But a lot of people, they give themselves too many breaks just to go sit around and not do this. But also, the issue I've noticed with people is that this is going to be me complaining about other people a lot, I guess, but which I don't want it to be because it's about my passion. But I've noticed that it seems like a lot of people give themselves a lot of excuses or they don't forgive themselves for just taking a day and watching TV, which is something that sometimes you need. Like, just because you do that doesn't mean that it should be a regret, Like, sometimes you run yourself thin and you just need a recovery day or whatever, but at the same time, you need to have something that drives you to do more important stuff for your life. Because in the end, in my opinion, none of this matters, so everything matters, really, That's a weird way to phrase it, but in my opinion, everything is random, and the world was made by cells colliding together and, stars cooling, so nothing we do will ever really change that much. Like, the greatest people in history, sure, we kind of know them and they kind of did something, but they're not like, they were just people. They were just doing stuff. Like, I don't remember what George Washington ever ate for breakfast on a Thursday in 1794. So, like, but to him, that really mattered. Like, he needed that to have the energy to do this and this, So, it's a weird, I'm phrasing it completely wrong, but I just think that making every day count is important, but yeah, I don't know.
Having to count every day is not.
Yes, like some people, they'll go insane with. Okay, well, I watched this is gonna be a really controversial and old take, but Andrew Tate, he's like the person, I don't follow him or anything like that. I'm just saying, but he was like, I never watched Star Wars, and it's like you're doing bad things if you do watch Star Wars. That's not a good take, I think. like that
and
was
the flip side of his take is also equally bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like
instead of watching Star Wars, I do what Jabba the Hutt did to Princess Leia.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
stuff like that.
Are you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great. I mean, it's probably not like the best philosophy. I'm young, Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, you're young, don't know what you're talking about." But for me, currently, the best philosophy is to just do what you need every day to make yourself happy. That's why I did a podcast. I had something that I really enjoyed doing, and I wanted to make myself better by being better at public speaking. I used to have the worst stutter in the world. I could not talk to people. Doing stuff like that has helped me get better at that. So I'm just doing things that will make it so that I can be happy with the person I am. That was a long, rambling rant to say that thing.
No, that's great. When did you... So, at what point in your life did you really start making this as, like, important to you as it is now? Like, when did that start to really, like, kind of come into its own? Or was this, like, a slow build over the years, or was there, like, a kind of a turning point for you?
So, I think what really pushed it over the edge was in high school, I didn't have any time for extracurricular activities. So after I finished high school, I'm even more busy now. But I've decided that I don't want to just do my life going through the motions. I want to do things that interest me, but I don't want to just do what everybody else says are the normal things to do. Like like going skiing off of giant mountains and reckless stuff. Like, I want to live my life for a long time, but I want to do stuff that really matters to me. But I guess to answer the question more correctly than that little tangent, when this really started was after high school. For me, things started. The world was going crazy at the time, and I decided that, you know what, I'm sick of being just stuck inside doing homework and stuff. So I just decided, you know what, every skill I'm interested in, I'm gonna just start doing, and then if I don't like it, I'm not gonna do it. So exactly right after high school, basically, because in high school I spent no time for myself because I was doing high school, and then I got my associate's degree in high school, and then I also got my medical assisting degree on top of that, which is a separate program. So I did too much.
You did that all while in high school?
Yes. I was doing too much school. Way too much school. I was driven, but I had no real purpose because I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
You were driving places you just didn't know in what direction.
Exactly.
So what was the way it first started? What was the first thing that you really started doing to, like, take better care of yourself? Do you start, like, working out more? You start eating better? What was the first step in that direction that you took after going from 1,000,000 pounds of school to, maybe I should take myself to school?
My first step, I would say, was changing my mindset. So I was driven to do stuff, but I mean, it's hard to say because this is going to sound awful, but I don't see myself as a very driven person. But when compared to other people, I've been told I am extremely driven. It's weird because so I had to change my mindset to see that I am a person that can do stuff. Like, I never thought, like, it sounds selfish, but I really don't see myself as like doing a lot of stuff with my life. But I don't know how to describe it exactly.
Sure,
but I do a lot that, and I have a lot.
do.
Yeah,
hopefully not all over the place.
Oh, I have a poo fetish, so everywhere. I'm just kidding. That's not real.
Yeah, we don't kink shame here, but wow, over sure.
Sorry. That was just really funny. What you said. Here I am laughing at doo-doo jokes. This is really going to sell my case. No, but so I had to change my mindset of being a driven person. I do a lot. Yes, do, but I think that I had to change my mindset so that I was more in line with, it's okay if I don't do as much of the important things that people say I need to do. Like, I don't need to take all the classes I can this semester so I can graduate 3 years early, this stuff, that stuff. I don't need to do all of that. Like, I needed to honestly calm down because I was in such a state of doing so much that I was driving myself crazy.
Yeah.
So then I started taking time to do stuff that I wanted, and it really drove me to... I feel like I'm more passionate about stuff now than I was before because I was kind of going through the motions with just doing this stuff. Because it wasn't really passion driving me. Like, I was doing a lot, but it wasn't really...
You were trying to, like, meet and exceed the bar that society had set out for you instead of
Exactly.
doing something because you liked it, yeah.
Exactly. So I felt I was... Yeah, it's hard to describe for me just because I never really vocalized it like this, It was more just a subconscious decision to just do it, Just take care of myself. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Tell me can you give us an order of, like, the big kind of watershed moments of, like, where you started and, like, what all you're doing when you say taking better care of yourself, or the ones you're willing to share? Like,
No
what
problem.
order do you think it went in?
So, I started changing my mindset, and then I started to lose weight, which I lost weight, and then I kind of stopped worrying about it because I wanted to work on cooking. So then you put on weight because you eat more whenever you work on cooking. But then I really started honing down on losing weight and getting in better shape, which I've started doing.
Did you start with working on food as a way to lose weight, or did you start by going to the gym? What was your order there?
Calorie cutting was my thing, like I mentioned before. So I'm doing a thing where I eat a little bit more every now and then, but then I cut calories highly after that, so I tricks my body into losing weight, and it's been working. Weird, yada yada. Science.
Congrats.
Math
That's awesome.
Stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Science, math stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You know, calories, food, units of energy. That's how you measure them. I don't know. But yeah. Sorry, I lost my place.
No, you're all good. So you changed your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You went to, working on self, cutting calories. Then you started going to the gym, I'm assuming, after that?
Yes, that's what I've been doing lately. I've been doing a lot of just lifting weights, swimming, that stuff, trying to get my body better, but also trying not to just burn myself out because...
Yeah. Making it so that it's enjoyable
Yep.
and not just a chore.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to get a better lifestyle because, sometimes I want to make it so that I have lasting... I've been trying to work on lasting habits for life so I can have a awesome old age, and awesome this, awesome that,
No, it's everything I've heard from people that are very positive about self-improvement, that are, gurus, or that's what they do for a living, is very much has to be sustainable. You can't do it for a while and get off it. Otherwise you just usually end up picking the weight back up that you dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing is making it, because a lot of people are oh, I'll just do this. I'll do and no shade for those that can make it work, but a lot of people will turn to keto or turn to these quasi-fat diets and go hard on oh, look, I lost all this weight. It's yeah, but are you, sometimes the way in which you're losing the weight is not, sustainable.
Yeah.
And two, a lot of the times they're willing to do that for a while and they're look at the weight, cool, now I can stop doing this thing. It's most of the time when you stop doing the thing that got you there, you find it, the calories find you again.
Mm-hmm.
It's witness protection. You kind of got to stand in for it for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be hop in, hop out. You got to stay in there, otherwise Mr. Singularity will catch back up with you.
Exactly.
Couldn't come up with a corny
Mr. White.
stereotypical Italian name for a second there.
Fazio.
There we go. Yeah, Fozzie will catch up with you. So what would you say is the biggest misconception about self-betterment by the wider world?
That's a good one. That it's a constant struggle. I've noticed that a lot of people, whenever they try to self-better themselves, they dive headfirst into a thing and they don't try to, and they really try to become an expert with it overnight. People that are trying to learn a new instrument, they'll spend 7 days a week on learning to play the guitar, and then they'll just stop because it's too hard. All you need to do is spend an hour.
They won't pace themselves at all?
Yeah, you just spend an hour or two, every 3 days or something, if even that much, or spend 20 minutes every night trying to learn it or something. But they just need to get a better grip on their times tables, basically. You don't have to plan your day out if that sounds like more work, but just make sure that you have just a little bit of time, because skills take, whenever you're a kid, it's a lot easier to learn skills. But you can still learn skills, but your mind is going to be split up a lot among a lot of other different things, unlike kids, which they can focus solely on this one thing. And then they'll have people telling them to do it, which as adults, you don't have that opportunity. Somebody else can't tell you to practice your violin for 3 hours a day for 4 days a week, but so you got to make the time, but you can't just force yourself to become good at something.
Yeah.
You have to...
Yeah, you got to take your time. It's otherwise, you just end up with burnout.
Exactly. You have the rest of your life to learn how to play a guitar. Even if, what's the... who in the realistic world has to learn how to play the guitar perfectly before next October, I mean, it's good to set goals, but you have the rest of your life to learn how to become good at playing the guitar. You don't need to become a rock star immediately. I mean, unless you absolutely do, but then... it's probably too late. That's my opinion on it.
Absolutely.
people just need to be more
Take
realistic
your
with their
time.
goals.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What was one of the big ones that you had to, like, it sounds like you probably learned that through trial and error, which, I mean, that's the way most everybody I've talked to, and myself included, have learned. What was the first trial and error thing that you learned going through self-betterment that you're like, tried it one way and you're like, nope, and had to like go back to the drawing board?
how to properly work on metalsmithing. Burned myself really bad. That was one of the first things where I'm like, okay, we gotta make sure we do this correctly. Going back to the drawing board.
Why metalsmithing, by the way? It's really cool. I love it. But what got you into that of all, fun pastimes that you've always wanted to like work on?
So I specifically chose metalsmithing just because I used to love watching that show on my very rare off times, Forged in Fire. I thought it was really fun.
Oh, right on.
And then I've always just been interested in just the way that it's done, because like whenever I'd like read a fantasy series or watch a book, I'd always be interested in like the metals, how they do it. Like Wolverine's adamantium skeleton, like for some reason I was obsessed with finding out how everything about adamantium whenever I was little.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved how like just metals and chemistry work and stuff. I don't know, I've just always been drawn to metals. I always thought they were really cool, so I just decided, you know what, I want to actually do something with them. So I started working on it, and it was a fun hobby.
Now, is this something, I'm assuming you didn't just like do it in your garage? Like, how did you go about pursuing something as foreign and as like, just so off the beaten path?
You're correct. I did not do it in my garage. I did it in my backyard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So right now
you had like an anvil and like
Yes.
all the biz, or?
So what I did is I looked into budget substitutes for certain things, which still works. There was a big chunk of railroad tie in so I was, my neighbor had a big chunk of, it was a big piece of the railroad. Like it was just trash. Anyway, I asked him if he was using it, and he's like, nah, it's just garbage from an old railroad. So I took that, and it works as a semi-decent anvil replacement. And then I got a bunch of fire bricks, which were pretty cheap at the time that I got them. And then I just built a furnace out of it.
That's rad.
Yeah, and then you just need a little bit of coal, not great for the environment, but I mean, I use a little bit. And then an old shop vac. If you connect the hose to the back end and it blows the air in it, it gets it really hot, so you can melt metal. So it's like a cricker, junky, just like the most trashy looking thing you've ever seen, but you can do metal stuff with it. And it costs me pennies on the dollar.
All right. How safe is it though? Are you kind of literally and figuratively playing with fire? Okay, cool.
So yeah, the furnace is well made. Like, I mean, it's fire bricks, so they all connect together. And then I have like, I poured cement in it. I work in construction, so I know how to like make stuff safe enough.
I know what I'm doing, kids.
Exactly. Don't just do this in your backyard. But yeah, it was a fun project to do. Spent a weekend on it, man, and just practice it. And now I make knives and stuff just for the fun of it. It's just fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, on the kind of going back to the passion of just self-improvement, what would you say is your favorite non-obvious aspect that people don't get when you explain it to them? They go, "Oh, really?" Or, "Oh my gosh, I never would have thought about that."
This is gonna sound weird, but I don't really talk about like being passionate to a lot of people. I just mostly just do. It's just the thing I do just because I'm driven to do it for myself. Like, I'm not in it for the glory or whatever. I just, and nobody really asked me about it just because I'm a little bit private about that kind of stuff, just because for the most part, I just want to just make myself better, and I don't care what other people think about it. And so it just never comes up in conversations. I don't know if that answers it, but the question.
I guess if somebody, well, since it doesn't come up, let it come up. What is something? How do I ask a question within a question?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. This is a fun puzzle. Gonna give me a second of dead air to cut it out, but um, I guess you bring up a really good point. So I guess to kind of turn this question on its head so that we can answer it, what is something that you expected when you started pushing towards self-betterment that ended up being different than you had initially thought? Did you think one of the things was going to be harder, easier, different than it ended up being? What kind of caught you off guard, or put you, was just different than you initially had kind of made the space for it to be when going on this journey?
Talking to people. So I do my podcast, which I'm not trying to bring it up like, oh, do I do this podcast? Listen to it, but I did it so that I could talk to people I don't know. I like to interview a lot of people I've never met before, similar to, I assume, what this is, because you're talking to people. I mentioned this earlier, but I used to stutter a lot, and so I did that like that. I didn't know what I was saying. I would think before I spoke, and I really thought that talking to people was going to be a lot harder than it was. Like, just getting people to talk to me and then talking back, and I really thought that was going to be like the hardest thing, because everybody's like, public speaking is one of the hardest things you can do. Everybody has a big fear of it, It seemed like it was a mountain that was insurmountable. Then one day I just decided, you know what? Screw it. People can say whatever they want. I don't care. I'm going to do it how I want. I'm going to talk to people. I'll try and get people I know or people I don't know. Like, I've met so many cool people that I've never would have met before by doing it. And I get to, I don't know, it didn't come naturally at first. But I feel like over the time, it's become easier and easier just to talk and have real conversations with people. But at the same time, we're talking, having real conversations, and I don't know, it's weird because it's hard to talk to people, but at the same time, it feels so much. It's so freeing being able to do it. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, similar boat as me. The reason I started this podcast was I was, like a lot of people starting a podcast, is during the pandemic. And it's something I had always thought about doing, but it was somewhere between necessity and need. As during the pandemic, I was working graveyard at a casino. I was new. I just moved to Los Angeles. Didn't really have any friends. Magic wasn't going on, which is the way I make a lot of my friends. So I'm just kind of isolated, and I needed a way. I was like kind of going a little stir crazy. I needed a way to interact with people.
Yeah.
And so I created, that's where this podcast comes from.
That's awesome.
And so I absolutely know what you mean. And like, it's interesting. You brought up public speaking. Have you found that doing a podcast has helped you with public speaking? Because the times that I've tried to do public speaking afterwards, and I feel like I've gotten a little bit more eloquent in just casual conversation and gotten a lot more comfortable, like you're saying, like being able to speak. But I haven't noticed, that's something that I haven't noticed being gained, was like my ability to speak publicly. But that it sounds like it has worked for you.
So that's a little bit of a bad thing on my part. I did do a little bit of a what's it called? I read a book on public speaking, so I got some tips there. So it's not specifically just the podcast that taught me. It gave me confidence to speak to people more, but the book on public speaking gave me more of a opportunity to. It taught me more of the tips and tricks to like be better at speaking to like more than 5 people.
What was the book that you read?
So there's a lot of them. My dad's into a lot of self-help books, so I can't remember exactly which one it was. I think it might have been Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill or something like that. Yeah. But I can't remember exactly which it was. Sorry, I don't have it.
No, you're fine, man. That's awesome. That's one plug. It's really cool. Something you brought up that made me remind me of something like that. Nope, brain's gone.
No worries.
All right. Well, from the exciting and the enriching to the wholeheartedly worrisome. That's funny. Starts with the same letter, does not alliterate. What is your preposterous peeve, Bridger?
So The peeve that annoys me, but it's weird. I specifically not like the noise that it's gonna sound weird. There are these brown metal fold-out chairs that are like you see it just like barbecues or whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
So my cousins, the only reason I know that I hate this noise is they would get those chairs and they'd either use their fingernails or forks and they'd scrape them against those chairs, and I absolutely hate that noise. But not for the reason you think. Like, the noise is fine. I just don't like, because it reminds me of what it feels like to touch it. It's the one thing I just do not like touching. Those chairs feels. So whenever I hear that noise, it reminds me of feeling that chair. So, like, it drives me crazy. Like, it's weird.
It reminds you specifically of touching the chairs?
Yeah, so there's only two things I do not like the touch of exactly. Those chairs and corduroy pants. Like, those are only things. So
is there any correlation between those two? Because I can see those two being problematic.
You're like just micro bumps, I think. I just don't like the feel of them specifically.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
When did you first... Sorry, go ahead.
No worries. You go.
When did you first notice that kind of mental disapproval of micro bumps and, you know, these black metal or these brown metal chairs?
My mother used to force me to wear corduroys, and I would complain every time because if I set my hands on my lap, I would immediately like, like that's the only way I can describe it.
That's so awesome. No, I get it. I enjoy corduroy because I enjoy contrast. So like I would enjoy like rubbing my fingers on corduroy and being like hee 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 hee. But I can totally there's plenty of little like occluding things or, you know, like visual or touch feel kind of vibes that just like drive me insane as well. Like there's things that you can't have any not tension, what's it called, where there's no, where you're like there's like no sticking point, where it's just like literally so smooth that you can't ever get any friction.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that drives me insane. Like when
so
it's impossible
latex?
to get yes.
Okay.
Things that are frictionless, I'm like the flip reverse of you. It's like I like the friction of things like that. It gives me like a stopping point, gives my like brain peace. But when there's no possibility of friction, you can't set something on something. It's like it's so maddening to my brain. So
well, you'd hate swimming then because you have to wear the latex swim caps.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah. You know,
so to start off with corduroy.
Yeah.
When did you notice the, you know, kind of enragement from these brown metal chairs?
So I was at a barbecue with some of my uncles and cousins or whatever. Anyway, some of the kids there, they had these plates and they were just scraping their forks on them. One kid, I think he just had the fork because he dropped his plate or something. I don't know what happened exactly. Anyway, he started scraping he was sitting in the chair, his legs were spread apart, and he was just scraping in between his legs on the chair. Drove me crazy. Like, the noise. Like, I was about to murder that kid. Like, I've never been so mad in my life. He was like slightly older than me probably at that point. And I just was like...
Didn't matter.
Exactly.
Murder.
I'm like, dead. You're dead to me. I still don't talk to him this day. Like, I don't know. He's like rich. He's probably gonna give nice Christmas presents stuff. Won't talk to him.
He probably's got loads of those brown metal folding chairs.
I know. I'm just gonna like show up to Christmas one day or something, and he just like has a chair there, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm never talking to you again. I hate you. He's like, what? We were best friends.
You rubbed a fork on a chair 15 years ago.
You remember this? I will never forgive you. So yeah,
you crossed me once unintentionally. That was enough.
Yeah, I normally don't hold grudges. I swear. No.
But kids, forks, and metal folding chairs, death.
No, I'll show you. I'm gonna have to look it up specifically. There's only one specific type.
Oh wow. So do do you dislike these chairs enough that you won't sit in them? Like if it's the only
so
way to
I'm
sit,
kind
you
of
either
over it
stand or
now.
sit on the floor? Oh, okay.
But so it used to be like really bad with me. I don't know why.
Would you like not actively like not sit in them or touch, like do your best to like not interact with them at all?
Yes, that's what I do.
Oh wow. How did you get past that? Was it just like, you know, a long wedding? You're like, oh, I'm not going to stand for 4 hours, and so you just had to sit and get over it, or what helped get you past this childhood chair trauma?
I just decided that it was stupid that I hated this certain chair, so I'm just gonna sit in it, and I did, and also I had to.
It was another act of self-improvement. It's
Exactly.
like, look, man, you got to get past this.
Exactly. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit for the podcast, just how much I hated them. It was just like really annoying.
Still,
Yeah.
love it. All right. Well, as I dry my eyes, we're gonna head to our second ad break, but don't go anywhere because when we get back, Bridger's gonna enter the lightning round. Do you ever find yourself doing a mundane activity with nothing to keep you from gouging your eyes out or sticking a pencil through one ear and out the other? Uh-huh. Well, then perhaps I could introduce you to music. Music comes in a variety of different types, flavors, and colors. Theorists say that it's the best thing to introduce to your life since food. So go out and get some and make your life just a little bit more bearable. And we are back! Woo. Bridger, are you ready to enter lightning round?
The lightning round?
Yes.
All right. Put however much time it takes to bake this cookie on the clock. Bridger, is there a price for you to give up your passion forever?
$21 billion.
Make the food or do the dishes.
Make food.
Did you ever cheat on a test in school?
Yes.
Are you out of touch or is it the children who are wrong?
I am the children.
Would you rather have your inner monologue sound like Gilbert Gottfried or Fran Drescher?
Already sounds like Gilbert Godfrey. No change.
Would you rather read the cue cards while wearing the crown or live in a hovel and speak your mind?
Hovel, I guess. It doesn't sound that bad.
Plane flight or road trip?
Plane.
Pineapple on pizza or fist fight?
Fist fight. That's an abomination.
Is professional wrestling cool or lame?
Porque no los dos? Why not both?
Yeah. Stub your toe or make small talk with strangers?
Small talk with strangers. I actually enjoy it because I like making people uncomfortable.
Well, you're doing a good job here. JK, you're having the best day of your life. What happens next? Another amazing thing or something terrible?
Yes.
Caramel or caramel?
Depends on how I'm feeling. I do that with a lot of words. Crayon or crayons? Sorry.
Well, one of them's plural.
Yeah. Crayon or crayon? I say both.
Crayon. Say crayon. What am I, an English teacher? Nick Cage, best or worst ever?
Depends on the movie.
A day in or a night out?
Day in.
Do you create your own thoughts or do you just listen to them?
Depends on the time. What voice is in control?
Would you rather meet your mortal demise by vicious werewolf attack or single zombie bite?
Vicious werewolf attack. Probably be faster.
Exactly. Bears, Beats, or Battlestar Galactica?
Gotta say, I'm a huge fan of bears. Kinda cool.
Kill Bill Volume 2 or Burn After Reading?
I've never seen either. So I'll probably Kill Bill Volume 2.
Haven't seen either. I'm gonna go with the the second movie in a duology.
I like
That's
Quentin
great.
Tarantino. I just haven't seen those ones yet.
Yeah, I just love it. That's great. All right, spend the holidays with your in-laws or work a double shift at your least favorite job that you've ever had.
Holidays with the in-laws. I don't have it yet, so they're non-existent. So that's pretty cool. I just by myself. Sounds best to me.
All right. Manual or stick shift?
I prefer manual just because it's easier, but stick shift's not bad.
Would you shave your head for $1,000?
Yeah. I shave my head for a stick of gum.
Coming to the Patreon this fall. Could you eat 37 of your favorite food for $5,000 in a 1 hour time limit?
Physically, no. Mentally, I'd be prepared.
Well, okay, either way, congratulations. You've survived the lightning round. But before we move on to your prize, I, like many listeners at home, would like to now know, what is your favorite food?
I said burritos earlier, but like favorite, well, that's like my favorite meal. Like favorite food, I don't know. It just depends on the day, or honestly, like that's how I am. It's just everything changes from day to day with me.
So can't do 37 burritos. Got it.
Yeah. I definitely don't think I physically ever could.
No. I mean, maybe if those like those little mini ones. Tiny.
I watched somebody eat
burritos,
10 chili dogs one time, and they were like puking afterwards. I'm like, nope, I'm not even gonna attempt 37 of anything.
The weirdest one for me is there was a bacon eating competition at one of my old jobs up in Humboldt County, where I worked as a dealer at a casino, and for whatever reason there was like a bacon fest, which culminated in a bacon eating contest.
Nice. 2
workers went and attempted, because there was like a prize payout and also free bacon. One of them is this little string bean of a guy who did get through 2 pounds. Impressive. Also, he like vomited and called into work because he did not feel well. The other guy ate 5 pounds and came to work without a single issue.
Jeez.
It was like, it's so funny how it just affects different people. You know, it's like, you see that guy eat 10 corn dogs, almost died, and yet there's some guy, you know, who accidentally ate 15 that day and is just like, oh, I guess I gotta go to work after this. You know, like, peeps be different, yo.
Yeah. That's too much food.
All right. That is, all of those, too much food. Yeah. Self-care, best care, don't do it.
Yeah.
Bringing it back to the pod, now that you've survived said lightning round, what lightning round question would you like to ask me and in turn be asked of future guests?
Okay, I had this written down somewhere. Let me just find it real fast.
Did. And it's a banger.
Cheese fries, abomination or gift from God?
Gift from God.
Yes.
He hath transplanted it from the heavens into our earthly realm, and for that we cannot repay him. That was his true gift. Jesus dying on a cross, neato burrito. Cheese fries, forever your servant, sir.
Hell yeah.
Especially chili cheese fries. Chili cheese fries are where it's at. Cheese fries are dope. Don't get me wrong. Chili cheese fries is the next level. Ugh.
This is gonna sound like extremely West Coast, but I just could go for some animal fries right now. Oh.
I just have. We're getting into my peeve territory, so we're gonna end the show before I start lighting shit on fire.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. There's nothing wrong with people liking In-N-Out. It's just the In-N-Out's wrong.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of In-N-Out. Like, I do not eat there. Like, Culver's is superior in my opinion. But
you might have just said a gas station. I agree with you. Yes, I don't know where you're talking about, but
you've never heard of Culver's? It's a really good burger restaurant. It's
I'll have to
from Wisconsin. It's delicious.
All right, it's in my to research list and see if there's one out here in Los Angeles.
There might be.
In the interim, is there anything you want to plug, shout outs you'd like to give, places people can find you or your content?
Yeah. If you want to find me on Twitter, I go by BRIGER, also an elk, which was a joke about Oko. Because Magic the Gathering.
For those of you magical nerds, yeah.
Exactly. Because I was turned into an elk. I since don't go by that nickname, but I just left Twitter because I use that occasionally. So, and then if you want to find my podcast, it's the Shoxies podcast. It's a Pioneer-focused podcast, the Magic the Gathering Pioneer format, not the settlers from the 1800s from the Mormon Church. Trust me, I'm not that Utah. If you want to check that out, it's fun. I have new guests on every week. Well, sometimes I have Carnage a lot because he's cool. But yeah, if you want to find me, those are the places you can find me. Other social medias I don't really do because I'm not that cool. I play Magic the Gathering, for God's sake.
I disagree. I think you're very cool.
Oh, thanks.
Do you have any friends or family you'd like to nominate to come on this podcast so they too can suffer as you have today?
Yes. I think that Carnage Cards could be really cool. I remembered his name, Jesse. If you want to find him, I can find you. I can send it to him. He might be interested. But if not, I do have a second one that could be good. Rose Emoji is also cool. He works for the same place, but I think either of them could be very cool if you were looking. Very interesting people.
All right. Sweet. Carnage and Rose, we're coming for you. All right. Well, thank you, Bridger, for being my guest today, and special thanks to my editor, Richard Ashford, and my composer, Joshua Gibbons. And thank you, yes, you listening at home or wherever you found time to appreciate this. Time is the most precious commodity we have, and I appreciate you spending yours with us. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, or just share it with a friend. Every little bit helps. Or if you already have and are out of episodes to listen to, don't worry! We put out a new episode every Monday at midnight on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes at Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves Podcast. And a very special thanks are due to our patrons, Sabella Yellow. If you'd like to join such illustrious ranks and have your name read aloud and support this thing that you're spending so much time enjoying, please just head on over to patreon.com/Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves Podcast. And remember, folks, if days are numbered and songs are sung, at the end of the day, I think we've all won. So please stick around, because great things have only just begun.